Hey guys, it's me S from tailorofalltrades.com and Travail du Corps Boutique. Today I just wanted to make a quick video showing you some essential crafting tools that I use on a daily basis. If you are just thinking about getting into crafting, these are some things that you should consider getting pretty quickly just to make some of the projects that I'm sure you've seen either on YouTube or on blogs. These are the types of crafts that paper crafters are going to be using. I'm sure other types of crafters can definitely use these tools, but they're really good for making cards, banners, envelopes, gift boxes, all sorts of things that are paper related. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you some of the bigger pieces first, and then we'll move into some of the smaller pieces. But either way, I will explain to you one by one the things that I consider to be essential. So the first tool that I consider to be essential might not seem like a tool that would be in my arsenal, but it is. This is a decorative hat box lid, and the reason that I consider it a must-have is because, like I said, I'm a paper crafter and I need to be posting pictures of my products for my Etsy shop and for, just pictures that I want to send to people, Instagram and whatnot. So this is a tool that I would consider to be huge value. Like I said, it's just an empty hat box lid. The other side is very lightly decorated. The flip side is very elaborately decorated, but it's just something you should keep handy for your images. Another tool that you should consider getting pretty quickly, I am using a large plastic crafting table cover. And this is just to keep your work surfaces neat and to help them last as long as possible. Underneath here, I don't know if you can see this line right here, but underneath here is, I believe it's Doris, and it's a crafting mat. It's heat proof and ink. It doesn't stain with ink and all sorts of things, but it's very flimsy. And so I happen to like the more solid crafting mats a little bit better. So that's something I strongly suggest you get post-haste as quickly as possible. Another tool that you're going to want to be getting is a very small paper cutter. I have actually got a really large one for doing massive projects, but we do, as paper crafters, we do so much cutting that it's just beneficial to get a paper cutter. And most paper cutters come with two tools. One is a scoring tool, which scores lines for you but doesn't cut through, makes it easier to bend and fold and things like that, and then the actual cutting blade, which comes with replacements that you can buy. So I have the Reflections 12 by 12 paper cutting machine, and as you can see, the ruler pops out so that I can do projects as big as 12 by 12, and there are even smaller paper cutters, and I wouldn't deter you from getting them, but I have the 12 by 12 super thin, super handy paper cutter. So that's one thing you're going to want to have. Another thing that you're going to want to have is the Martha Stewart scoreboard. So this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see that whole thing. It's the Martha Stewart scoreboard, and this is definitely a tool that all paper crafters should have. It comes with another tool that is in my toolbox, and that's called a bone folder. The Martha Stewart scoring board comes with a small 4.5-inch boning tool. Most of the boning tools that you can find online or through scrapbooking stores are between 6 and 8 inches, sometimes even 10 and 12, and that is just too darn big if you ask my personal opinion. I really like the small one, super handy, super quick to use, really super versatile, and so I really like this boning tool. It comes with the Martha Stewart scoreboard, but you can find lots of different ones available online to buy. That's just another tool that you're going to want to be having, is the Martha Stewart boning tool that comes with the Martha Stewart scoreboard. Another set of Martha Stewart tools that goes along with the scoreboard, let's see if I can find all of them, is the Martha Stewart scoring styluses. And as you can see, there's lots of different tips ranging from very fine to kind of big and bulky. And if you don't have any idea what I'm talking about when I say scoring, basically what that does is it breaks the fibers in paper, especially sort of the thicker types of paper, so that if you have any folding to do, it just makes it easier to make those creases really sturdy and firm and to reinforce them. And so what you do is you put the piece of paper in across the side of the Martha Stewart scoring board, and then use your stylus to press along whatever line coordinates with whatever types of measurements you have. So I very often will just use this one. This is sort of the size that works best for the types of projects that I work with, but like I said, it goes very thin to very, very thick. So those are some tools that you're going to want to consider looking into. Some other just very basic tools. Hey, a ruler, good old-fashioned ruler. Since we work with paper, and a lot of times the tutorials that we read have very specific centimeter or inch markers, you're going to want a ruler to help you work through those. Another thing, pair of scissors, obviously. We do have our paper cutter. This is my set of bulk scissors, not expensive at all whatsoever. I do most of my bulk cutting with these. Anything that doesn't require any sort of really precise cuts, I will use this. They're a little bit larger, but I do also have a pair. I don't know where they are, I'll have to find them, but I do have a pair with it's a very fine tipped type of set of scissors, and they're really good for some of those precision cuts that we have to make as paper crafters. So I would suggest having 2 pairs of scissors, one for sort of bulk cutting and then one for very precise cutting. Another thing that you will want to look into is a single puncher, and I use this for just about everything from my banners, making holes in banners, to lace through, different types of twine, to just embellishing, to helping out with cards that I would like to place bows on. So it's just a really versatile tool that you can use with just about anything. So I would suggest getting one of those. Another tool that I would suggest getting is some crafting tweezers, and they usually come like this, and they're usually pretty sharp, and so they have a cover, which I use pretty I still keep it on my tweezers because I have small children, but it comes like this, and then these help you with all of your really fine embellishments, helps you get them off of whatever it is that they're adhered to put them into whatever type of craft you are going to be doing. So a pair of crafting tweezers is always a must. Something that I swear up and down by, left and right by, and I use in every single crafting situation I think I have ever been involved in, is double-sided tape. Now this is Sookwing, and that's not the manufacturer's name. This is just the particular brand that my favorite crafting store, Scrapbooking Made Simple, used for years until they were given their own brand, and their own brand is called Simply Defined, and they sell double-sided tape. This is, I believe, the 1.5 or the 1/2 inch, maybe even the 1/4 inch, but it goes all the way up to about 2 inches. So the roll is pretty thick, and I think they even have 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper that you can use with your wafer dies to make stickers and things like that. But I have found that the double-sided tape is just invaluable to me as a paper crafter, and my favorite thing about the Sookwing or the Simply Defined tape is that you can tear it. You can rip it right off, and so there's no cutting. You don't have to fiddle around with a pair of scissors. When you just pick whatever size you want to use from here, and then you just cut it right off. And I'll just set this back here and I'll use it when the time comes. But the fact that you can rip it just saves so much time, so you don't have to make a cut every time you need to use a piece of tape. So that's something I use all the time. Another thing I use all the time is what's called either dimensionals or foam dots or squares. So I use the dots. These are the American Crafts This to That foam dots, 275 count, and they come in packages that look like this. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets, and they come in 3 different sizes. These foam dots, large, medium, and small. And I will be honest with you, I am a little bit afraid that these are going to go out of production soon. This particular brand and this particular kind, I had to look high and low to find these, and I finally found them on Amazon. There was one scrapbooking store called a Cherry on Top that carried some, but they only had 5, so I bought those up in a hot second. And then I went on Amazon and bought a bunch, and they kind of fluctuate in price on Amazon from about $6 a package all the way up to almost $11 a package, so you want to get them when they're cheap. And if you can't find any on Amazon, it's probably because I have bought them all. But you don't have to have this brand. This is just the brand that works best for me. I've been using it for about 7 years. What I like about it is that it's really easy to get them off the sheet. A lot of the ones that are in production now, you'll see they come in these sort of cardboard housings, and the cardboard comes all the way up to the foam dot, and so you're having to sort of like poke them out, and it's a big hassle if you ask my personal opinion. And so I like this type of foam dot where it comes on a sheet. You just lift them right up, put them wherever you want to put them, to make a dimensional embellishment. And I'll even just show you what that would look like so you can kind of see. But I don't know if you can see this. This is an origami box. I make this origami box all the time for just about everything because it's so versatile. This is just a Halloween themed one. But if you can see, this cat here is raised, and so is this layered background, this scalloped circle here. And that's because I used dimensionals and I used the pop dots for that. And so I'll just show you a couple of other examples. But these, it works with just about everything, and the adhesive on these is just great. And so these are little wooden, I don't know, they're like tags, but I use them for this, so I didn't use them as tags. But I've got my dimensionals underneath there, holding those up to just give it a little bit of pop. And then I've even got it here with my little penguin guy. He's got dimensionals underneath him too, just so that it can give the final product. Oops, that's off. Sorry. Just to give it a little bit more dimension and a little bit more help things to stand out just a little bit more. So I very strongly suggest this particular brand. If you cannot find this brand, there are other manufacturers who make something similar, but this is my absolute favorite brand, and I will just be heartbroken when they go out of production because they're just perfect for the types of crafts that I need to create. Another way to embellish, I think you even saw it on my examples that I just showed you, here they are, is self-adhesive pearls. Now you can use things like rhinestones or beads or buttons, but I find that the pearls are the easiest to work with, and they just give a real classy finish to projects, and so I use them almost every time I craft. Almost everything I do has a pearl that goes along with it, and you can buy these absolutely everywhere. Just search self-adhesive pearls and you can just find them everywhere. I have all different colors and I absolutely love them, and in case you're wondering, yes, this would be a perfect type of embellishment to use with your crafting tweezers to help you stick them in the right spot. So that's something that I highly recommend. Moving on to sort of the stamping type of tools, in case you want to be a stamper, which I actually didn't become a stamper until well after I was a paper crafter. So when I first dove into stamping, I learned a whole bunch and had a lot of fun. And one of the things that I strongly suggest you keep handy is just an ink pad of your choice, of your favorite color. I happen to have a black one because I think black goes with everything, obviously. But you could, keep like a beige or maybe like a light yellow or a pink if pink's your favorite color. I keep black, and that's just because I have a really organized crafting station, and that means everything's always put away in its proper place. And so sometimes it's nice to just be able to grab the ink pad that's in my little toolbox on my desk rather than having to go to where all of my ink pads are stashed away. So I keep an ink pad. Another thing I keep handy, which I actually just learned about maybe 2 months ago or so, and I have no idea why it took me so long to figure out that it was in existence. It's brilliant. This is the Stampin' Up! Stamp and Scrub, and this is for anyone who crafts on a regular basis. And what it is you've got these two pieces of velvet or something like that, and on one side, I don't know if you can see that there's these little up in the upper left corner, these little dots that show you basically rainwater, and that is the wet side. And so what you do is you use, let's see if I can find it, there it is, you use your Stampin' Up! Stampin' Mist, and it's a cleaning, rubber stamp cleaning solution, and you spray here on one side, and then you rub your stamp on the wet side, and then over here, if you can see, there's a sun. In the upper left hand corner there's a picture of a sun, which means it's dry, and then you rub the stamp on the dry side. So you've got wet and you've got dry, and that cleans your stamp. It cleans it so well. For years I was using my children's wipies, and it just takes a long time. It doesn't really ever get the stamps fully clean, and I end up with fuzz on my stamps. So the Stampin' Up! Stamp and Scrub, or Stampin' Scrub, is just one of the most fantastic tools you will ever use. Moving on from stamping, this is another, well, this is kind of an odd one. I really like it. It's kind of odd. You're not really necessarily going to find it in your crafting store. You can find it at Walmart, at Ace, at Home Depot, Osh. These are Velcro dots. And like I said, I buy mine at Walmart. and they are self-adhesive, and I don't know if you can hear this, but the adhesive is very, very strong. Like, it takes a bit for me to get my thumb off it, which is fantastic because what I use them for is closing things that might pop open if they're not closed shut. So like I said, I use these origami boxes for everything, and this is a belly band, so I'll just take that off and show you where I use the Velcro dot. I cut mine in half because there is no sense in wasting, and I only need a half to get this closed up nice and tight. The box opens up like this. I'll have a tutorial on this box because it's a great box. I make it for absolutely everything. And I just put a little half piece of the Velcro on one side, and then its corresponding sort of, I don't know, scratchy piece. I have no idea what they're called. The opposite. One's fuzzy and one's scratchy. So, and then it just closes up this box really nicely so that you can use your belly band, and so that people can either reuse the box or just in general, sorry, having issues here, getting this belly band back on. So that they can keep whatever's inside there inside, so it doesn't fall out. And I use them a lot for like gift card holders or money holders, because if somebody is going to put their money in a money envelope, it needs to be fastened shut so the money doesn't fall out. So that's what I use these guys for, and I use them all the time, all the time. You can buy the Velcro tape, essentially, is what it is, but cutting it down is just usually a hassle. So these I just cut right in half, and I leave them with their adhesive peel away cover, and it just works really, really well. Oh, I forgot to mention this one. If you are going to be stamping, excuse me, if you're going to be stamping and you're going to be using your clear stamps, so if you use wooden stamps, this doesn't really apply, but if you're going to be using your clear flat stamps, you're going to need to have a stamp base to go with it. This is the Tim Holtz stamping set, and I think it comes with maybe like 8 or 9 different shapes and sizes. This is one of the rectangles. I use the one that's about half this width, but it's about that same length. And wait, no, I use the one that's the same width but not the same length. I use a shorter one, basically, is what I use. So this is just a really great tool, and if you get a chance, you're going to want to try to buy some of those just so that you can use all of those clear stamps that you have. Another really cool set of crafting tools that I recently found is this is called Deco Foil. It's really, really thin strips of basically mylar is what it is, and they come in all different colors, and you use them, well, you can use them with a lot of different things, but I use them with Zig two-way glue, which you buy in pens like this, and then you can write a sentiment, you can make some sort of shape, you can make lines or dots or whatever, and then it dries and it's still sticky. And what you do is you put this foil down over that, and then you're going to use your boning tool, and you kind of you scrape back and forth, so you burnish it, but you get that foil on there real good, and then you peel the foil away, and all of the places where you had drawn with your two-way glue pen, the foil stays on. And so it's just a really, really quick, beautiful way to enhance and embellish a card. And so these are tools that I keep right here in my little box on my crafting desk, just because it's so easy and so just really gives the card or whatever it is I'm making just that extra dimension that's just beautiful. And of course they're reflective, so it makes it shiny, and we all know that everybody likes shiny things. So those are 2 tools that I would strongly suggest. Another set of things that I would suggest you have, and they come in so many different types these days, is just a good set of colored pens. So I have one set that is just straight, I don't know, rollerball pens or whatever, and they're just normal colors, like a rainbow colors that you can use, and it comes in a pack of 10 or 12. And then these are my favorite. I use these for everything. These are my metallic pens, and I got both sets of pens on Amazon, and they're so small and so compact, but they're so beautiful, and they just give a little bit of extra something whenever you are trying to finish off a project. I don't know if that's coming through. But anyway, I just absolutely love these. I just absolutely use them. There we go. I just use them for everything. And I just recently made a banner for a party that I threw for my son, and I used this to do the writing on the banner sheets that I was creating, and it came out so beautifully. I was very, very self-impressed. So what you're going to want to do is keep a good set of just regular pens that are different colors, and then a good set of metallic pens handy. The last tool that I will talk to you about is not necessarily a tool, but it's handmade, and it doesn't have to look like this at all. This is just an extra piece of scrap paper that I used, but this is the measurements and quick directions for the origami box that I showed you, and then bows that are made with the envelope punch board from We Are Memory Keepers. I'll talk about that in another tutorial, with one strip of paper. So I make these paper bows all the time, and I kid you not, I must have watched 100 YouTube videos on how to make a paper bow easily, and this was just the most effective, easiest, most paper conserving way to make a bow. And so I have the directions for a small, medium, and a large bow. And then I have the directions for the origami box, which I make all the time, and it just reminds me I need a 12 by 12 piece of paper. These are my scoring lines for each of the sides, and sort of just some key tips that I need to remember, and then the belly band widths, and then the scores for the belly band. So this is a cheat sheet for crafts that I do all the time. I repeat them over and over and over again, so I would really strongly suggest that whatever you do a lot, you make yourself a little cheat sheet and keep it in your toolbox. So I hope that this tutorial helped you a little bit think through maybe some of the things that you will be using as you delve into the world of crafting. If you are a new crafter, welcome. You are going to have so much fun. And if you are an experienced crafter, I am just so glad that you spent time looking at my little tutorial on some of the tools that I use on a very frequent basis. So I hope you guys have a ton of fun crafting. I'll see you next time. Bye.